Hello and welcome to our second robotics game. Today we are going to be creating a robot that can rescue people from an earthquake. So we saw a video about how different engineers are developing robots to be able to locate people in a building wreck after an earthquake. So today we're going to have that situation in mind. So let's start. For the player and background, we're gonna start with our forever block. So we're gonna go here, sorry, on start block. So we're gonna start by that. And then we're going to be creating a sprite. So we're gonna create a robot that can go through the shipwreck. So I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna rename my variable. I'm gonna call it Wally. And I'm going to do a sprite of type player. So I'm going to draw something here. So I want to do something like the Wally from the movie. So here, just, some black for the tires. And then two big eyes. That looks like it has some glasses. Okay, remember I do that here quickly, but you can of course spend more time making it looking nicer than mine. So okay, all right, some hands here. So that's my Wally. Okay, I'm done. So I have my Wally. Now for the second part, we're going to introduce the concept of the tile map. So last class, we saw how to create a background image. So we can start with a color, with a background image. But in this case, we want to make a tile map. So tile maps are bigger than the screen I see here. So I can explore beyond my screen. So for that, I'm going to go to tile maps and click set tile map 2. Now if I click here on the square, it's going to take me to a tile map editor. In a tile map editor, I don't use pixels anymore. Well, I do use pixels, but what I do is that I work with tiles. So imagine we are creating a floor or a map, but we're using tiles. So here I have a gallery of different tiles. I have like forest, aquatic, dungeon, and also miscellaneous. So because this is a wreck, probably I'll start with some, I can grab my tiles and I can start putting my tiles around like this. Now maybe some, oops, I can adjust how many tiles I grab by clicking here on the upper left side. So here I have this, I have that. So I can start adding my limits so you can start designing your map. So basically what we're doing here is creating a maze, okay? So we're creating a maze out of tiles. And here you can be as creative as you want. Of course, try to make it difficult for the player that are here. So I'm gonna start here. I saw some rocks on dungeon, on miscellaneous. I saw some rocks. So because this is the wreck, maybe there are going to be some rocks around. Maybe a piece of building here. Okay, so you can build that also here in dungeon. Sorry. Forest. Here we also have some like walls. So try to make some kind of maze. You can change the different tiles. So I'm just gonna use a mix of tiles. Try to make the maze hard, okay? So the game is not that easy. Okay, like that. Okay, so let's continue with that. And again, you can make your maze as difficult as you want. Think that you need to leave one tile free for the character to move. If you don't do that, the character won't be able to go through. Now, so far so good. We have here, we go done. And now if we go to our game, we see the following thing. Now, my character appears in the middle. And even though I only see a part of the tile map, here, look. Oh, first I need to get my character moving. So for that, I'm gonna move my sprite with buttons, and we move Wally. Now, if I play the game, we see that our character is actually moving through all of the walls that I created. That's the first problem. The second problem is that if I go and try to explore the map, the character just goes. So I need the camera to follow the character. So let's go to the tile map. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this wall blocks or walls. So we're going to start drawing with red everything that should be a wall. Okay, so everything that is painted red, you won't see it red, but it's going to be a wall. So our character won't be able to jump those walls. So let's go over all of the things we want to be a wall, and then we can test it. So right now I'm drawing walls. Okay, there you go. So once I have that, we're going to see that our character now can't jump. So it can only go through the places where there are no walls, but it cannot jump over walls. Okay, so that's good. Now, the second thing we need to do is we have to, there you go, we have to create a camera that follows our character. So for that, I'm going to go to Scene, Camera, Camera Follow Sprite. Okay? And then I'm going to click Wally. So now, when I go here and I say Restart, I can go and I can now navigate the whole map. This is cool, right? So far so good. Okay, so let's go back. All right, now what we have to add now is we want the character not to start in the middle of the map. We want the character to start here. So in the other, one option would be to just say sprite position 2, like we did in the other game. But now that we have tile maps, what we can do is that we can choose a random starting tile. So here, for example, if I go to dungeon, I like this like crystal ball. So I can put this ball here in the middle, okay, sorry, here in the start, and then I can say here on sprites, place my sprite on top of random. So place my sprite Wally on top of this crystal ball. So here, every time the game starts, my Wally will appear in the on top of the crystal ball. Okay, so let's watch it again. So now my Wally is there. Okay, now so far so good. We want for the game dynamics, we want or mechanics, we want our game to be over once our robot reached the end. Now, what is the end? So similar to what we did here, we say place Wally on top of random at the beginning or on start. Let's say that we want the end, so we're gonna go to the tile map. We want the end to be maybe this chest, right? So I'm gonna put it here. Now let's put it here on the end. So I want that tile to mark the end of our maze. So once I have that, I'm gonna go to Scene, and then I'm gonna go down to on Sprite of Kind Player Overlaps. So here, what we do is that we say, if the Sprite of Kind Player, or my Wally, overlaps with, and then when I click here, I can say, you know what, when it overlaps or it touches the chest, Bow. Then we go and say what? We win the game. So that would be game over, I win. You can also have maybe a message saying something like you win. That's another option. You found the exit. Okay? So we play the game. Now we can try to look for the chest. And then, oh, so here we need to add the game over. So game over. One more time. And then we go over there. You found the exit. Very good, you won. Okay? Now, you could also add, let's say the goal is to rescue people. So how could we create some kind of way of rescuing people or having people around? One option would be using tiles. So I could go here and I could also create my own tiles. So if I go to my tiles, I can do plus, and then I'm going to create a human, a small human, okay? So I'm gonna be rescuing a human. I'm gonna do a small baby. I'm gonna put babies around the tile map, okay? So here's my baby. Some small eyes. So the poor baby's crying, so it's sad, okay? So I'm gonna put some babies, like one baby here, maybe one here, maybe one here, maybe one here, okay? So I can just spread them around, and then I can say, I can start a score. To add a score, first I need to start the score, so I can go to game and say, info. Set score to 0 at the beginning, so it always starts with 0. I haven't rescued any babies. And then I can say that I can replicate or duplicate this sprite. So when the player overlaps with babies, okay, it doesn't win, but it changes the score here. If you see the game, you have the score over here, okay? So let's change the score by 1. So right now, it's not only about going to the end of the maze, it's also about rescuing babies. So right now, you can go and then boom, you can rescue a baby. You can rescue another baby, okay, etc. Okay, now you're getting points. Now, and then you win, okay, and you have a score. Now, one thing you can do could be maybe, let me see if you can just erase the baby, so you don't get like infinite amount of score. You can also get life, okay? So those are some ideas that you can use. Another way of doing that would be to erasing this. Instead of using the baby, I'm going to erase the baby. I'm going to use something different. Just gonna, you can use, instead of baby like that, you can use sprite. So you can put a sprite, set a sprite, and then again you're gonna draw baby, and then you can define this baby as food. So I'm gonna call this baby, and then the baby will appear here, but you can also say, you know what, the baby can appear in any random place, okay? Or you can put it in a random spot, okay? So maybe you can go, let's say here, we're gonna put some places where babies could appear. So maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. So what I can say is, place baby in top of random. So now in the flowers, because we have several flowers, every time the baby will appear in a different So right here, the baby is there. Okay, but if I restart it, now the baby is in the other flowers. So now the game is choosing randomly where to put the baby. So that makes it a little bit harder. And then what I can do is just go here and say what happens if the sprite of kind player overlaps with the sprite of kind food. In this case is my baby. Well, first I have to destroy the baby. That's just to erase the sprite. Don't think that we're killing babies, we are rescuing them. So destroy the baby, and then we get a point. Okay, so that's it. Okay, we could also even have babies that have a higher score, and maybe adults that have a lower score. I don't know, it's up to you. Remember, here we're trying to simulate situations of robots in real life. So I hope you like this game. If you have any questions, you can write it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.